Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. And in this video we're going to talk about third-party support yet again. And this is going to be a continuing topic for Nintendo until they basically get the third-party situation fixed for their systems in the not too distant future. Of course, this is about the Nintendo Switch. Now, Nintendo recently had, of course, their investors meeting, and Tatsumi Kimishima, president of Nintendo, has been doing lots of interviews and talking about the Switch and the future goals for the system and everything. And Nikkei quoted Kimishima recently by saying that he said, "I don't think we can readily achieve the target of selling 10 million consoles for the Nintendo Switch." And he's talking about how Nintendo did the forecast of selling 10 million more Nintendo Switch systems by March 31st, 2018. So that would be in addition to the already 2.7 million that they've already sold as of March 31st or shipped. So Nintendo is projecting to sell 10 million more Switch systems by March 31st, which would bring it roughly around 13 million consoles sold worldwide, which would be about equal to what the Wii U sold in its entire lifespan. So 13 million.5 is what the Wii U has sold, and the Switch they're projecting will sell 10 million more on top of what they already have sold, which would be almost 13 million, which is kind of a big goal, right? You would say. Now, in comparison to the Wii sold 20 million systems worldwide in its first year. Of course, the Wii was a huge phenomenon. It was flying off the shelves like crazy, and Nintendo produced enough stock to sell that many. But Kimishima is saying that it's going to be difficult, basically, or it's not going to be easy to achieve selling 10 million more Switch systems by March 31st, 2018. I just thought this was interesting coming out right after they already projected that many. He's saying that I don't think we can readily achieve it. Basically, he's not saying it's impossible, but he is saying it's going to be difficult. And of course, him being the president of Nintendo, it's kind of strange hearing him say that, at least publicly. Usually the president of the company would say, yeah, we're on our way to achieve that goal. It's still a year away, and we're on our way, we're off to a great start. And here he is saying that, yeah, I don't know if we can do it. So I thought that was kind of interesting that he would say that so soon after they already made that projection. Now, Nikkei also reported something else that was interesting from this, is that it said that an executive at one of these third-party companies said that Nintendo asked them to introduce major releases as early as possible. So basically, Nintendo has been going out and asking these third parties to produce more games faster for the Nintendo Switch. And why is that? Well, quite obviously, the system doesn't have that many games on the horizon right now. Now, again, this is interesting. I will say interesting because E3 is not here yet, right? E3 is next month. So you would think that you would be hearing these things after E3 if there were no games shown at E3. So it is kind of strange that we're hearing this a month before E3 when, usually the companies would be saying just wait till E3, we'll have a lot more things to announce. But here we're hearing things pop up saying that Nintendo is asking third parties to get their games ready earlier and get them out the door sooner, basically so the Switch can sell more systems. So Kimishima's a little cautious here. He's not sure if they can meet that 10 million consoles sold goal. And Nintendo's asking third parties to get their games out of the door quicker for the system. Obviously, the more games you have available for your system, the more it's going to sell, and the more it's going to fly off the shelves, right? You're going to have bigger games in the market, and bigger games will sell your system. And Nintendo, we know they have had a problem and issue with third parties for the past, I don't know how long, since the Wii, basically. And the Wii had all the third-party support, but it didn't have all the third-party AAA support towards the end of the console's life cycle on the Wii. And of course, the Wii U was a disaster. So third-party support is very important. Nintendo needs to have at least some of the major AAA third-party games on their system for the holidays for it to sell even better and for them to reach that 10 million consoles sold, as Kimishima is saying right here as well. Of course, we know it's not getting Overwatch anytime soon, and we know it's not getting Assassin's Creed Origins. It's probably not getting Red Dead Redemption 2, and we really don't know what else it's getting from third party. We've heard some positive things from third party developers, and we've even heard game announcements from third party, like Square Enix has announced Dragon Quest 11 for the Switch, but they've gone completely dead silent on that game. We haven't heard anything else about it since then. And of course, we know Playtonic Games has announced Yooka-Laylee for the Switch, but again, the game has been launched already and has come and gone on other systems, and Playtonic has been completely silent about Yooka-Laylee on the Nintendo Switch. They barely said anything about it. When we're going to hear more about it, we don't know. So the games that have been announced, we barely know any more information on them. And some of the other games that we do know about are still yet to come, right? So it is important to have more games announced for the system. Obviously E3 is coming up and we don't know what's going to be announced per se for all these companies, but hearing them say this right now before E3 is kind of interesting because, like I said, usually they would say just, we have more releases from third party on the horizon. So the repeating story is that we're hearing from third party developers for the Switch is that, yeah, we love the Switch, we love the concept, we love Nintendo. Do we have any games to announce for the Switch though? No, we don't. So that is the common thread we keep hearing. And EA just recently said that they like the Switch, they're excited about it, it's selling great, and they said they would like to release more games on the Switch in the future. Yet again though, they didn't announce anything for the system. There's no promises really, just like they would like to, right? So that's what we're hearing, and of course we've heard the rumor about Call of Duty World War II coming to the Switch, and I heard it's under consideration for the Switch, but that's no guarantee either, right? So I'm sure Nintendo will have a lot to fill the gaps for the system. Nintendo even says so themselves, that the Switch will have at least one release every month to keep the momentum going. But it is nice to see that they see the importance of third party, because third party will fill in those gaps, because one release every month is just not enough to keep that momentum going, and obviously Nintendo doesn't have any game in the pipeline that's as big as Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Switch, and that was the launch game to catapult the system off to great sales. Nintendo doesn't have anything on the horizon that's a 9.8 level type of game coming out for the Switch that we know about, right? So third party is extremely important to get at least some of the big games on the Switch. Obviously, it's probably not going to be able to run Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's probably not going to be able to run some of these other really, complex type of games for the system, but Nintendo must do what they can to get some third-party games on this system to bolster the sales even better. Now, I'm open to suggestions, in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think they should do. Should Nintendo perhaps, entice some of these third parties with some money, basically money hat some of these games? Should they offer to support them with more development funds, basically, to get these games ported to the Switch? Should they open up more communication lines with developers? What should they do to convince third parties to come onto the system and to get their games on the system? I want to know what you guys think about that. And let me know what any ideas you have. But for now, we can't say one way or the other. But so far, at least, we can see that the Switch does not have much third-party support. And that is what really drives the industry. Nintendo first-party games don't really drive the industry. They sell good for Nintendo themselves, but third-party developers, third-party AAA publishers, they make the bulk of the revenue for the entire video game industry. Activision Blizzard makes over $6 billion in revenue a year. EA makes over $4 billion in revenue a year. Ubisoft makes $1.5 billion in revenue a year, and Square Enix recently just added that to that. They make about $1 billion in revenue a year themselves. Nintendo, they made just over $4.5 billion in revenue altogether, including all their console sales. So these third-party developers and publishers make the majority of the cash. So Nintendo wants a part of that cash. They got to get on the ball and get these third parties onto their system to support their system in the future. Alright guys, thanks so much for your support and watching the video. The gameplay you've been watching is from Star Fox on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you soon in the next video. Take care.